Well, it is a cold night tonight. It is 3 degrees outside. It is very cold here tonight, but that makes it a perfect night for us to smoke some cheese. So what we got is we have our Pit Boss Pellet Grill. We've got that here, and we've got that warming up. Got it just fired up, so it's producing smoke. But the thing is, it's so cold outside. The way that burns, it's always blowing cold air in there to make the combustion. This thing isn't going to be able to hold temperature, so it's not going to get very hot, but yet it's going to make smoke. So it makes it perfect for cold smoking. So while this pellet grill, while it's kind of settling out on temperature here, we'll go ahead, go inside, and see if we can get out the cheese and get it ready to smoke. So this is the cheese that I'm going to smoke today. I've got some couple blocks of the Kraft extra sharp cheese, and then I've got this white Vermont extra sharp cheese. And what I'm going to be using, this is just one of those jerky trays that you'd be able to cook jerky in your oven with. So we're just going to use that to smoke the cheese on in the smoker today. So normally when you try to smoke cheese in a smoker like one of these Pit Boss smokers, you go through lots of effort to try to you use like huge containers of ice, and you go through all this effort to try to make sure that the cheese stays cold, that it doesn't get too hot and start to melt. But when it's this cold outside, when it's like 3 degrees cold outside, this thing is just going to naturally be cold. You're not going to have to use any ice. So when we come down here and we look at this, right now this temperature gauge is saying that it's 75 degrees in there, and it's flashing because it doesn't think that it's actually burning. But yet when you open it up and you look inside, it actually still is burning. It just can't get warm enough in this cold weather because it actually blows cold air in there for combustion. So that makes it a perfect time to be able to smoke cheese. So we got our cheese here. We're going to put that in the smoker. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on this side of the smoker here, because this heat shield that's in here is actually higher here and it goes downhill. So if we put it on this side of the grill, this will be farther away from the heat. Plus we've put like a baking tray underneath it for an added heat shield. So this definitely shouldn't get too hot in here since it's so cold out today. So we'll go ahead, we'll close this cheese up. We'll let this smoke in here, and we'll check it every 15 minutes, and then in about an hour we'll go ahead and we'll flip that cheese over. Okay, it's been an hour. The grill actually did get up to about 100 degrees now. So you open it up. Cheese don't look bad, don't look melted. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over. Go ahead and let this smoke another hour. Well, the cheese has been on the grill now for 2 hours, and even after 2 hours we're still only up to 105 degrees. So that should be cool enough that the cheese never melted. So look at the cheese here. Looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and take this inside. So here's the cheese. We just took it out of the pellet grill, and you can tell from the edges of the cheese, you can tell that it didn't get too hot, that it didn't start to melt or anything, and it looks pretty good. Right now it smells pretty smoky, so I think we did a pretty good job smoking this cheese. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this up in some plastic wrap. We're gonna put that in the refrigerator. Well, we're gonna let that cheese sit in the fridge for about 4 days before we eat it. So as soon as you smoke that cheese, it's gonna be super bitter. It's something to do with the smoke. You know, when it first gets on that cheese, it's just super bitter. So you really need to let it sit for about 4 days. Let that taste mellow out before you try it. And then after like 4 days, it's just, I really love smoked cheese. It tastes really good. So that is the second batch of smoked cheese that I've made this year, and I think this one's going to turn out really good. So the last batch I made, the temperature outside was just a little bit hotter, and my grill was actually getting up to about 115, 120 degrees. And actually toward the end, after 2 hours of smoking, one of my blocks of cheese was just starting to melt. So it was getting a little bit too hot. So if you have a pellet grill and it's like less than 10 degrees outside, it ends up being like the perfect time to try to cold smoke something in the pellet grill. You don't have to go through any effort of using blocks of ice or trays full of ice to try to keep something cold. So it just works out really well in this cold weather if you want to try to cold smoke something. Now I've been using just the normal smoke setting that I normally use. So on a pellet grill, you have some settings to your smoke setting. Now I normally use the setting of P3 setting. That just works out good for me. It's a setting that smokes well, and the flame doesn't go out. It seems like the default setting is P4 on my grill, and I have trouble after a couple hours. It'll want to burn itself out. It's just not enough wood pellets. So the P3 setting works fine for me in the summer, and it seems to work fine for me in the winter as well. So if you have a pellet grill, it's cold outside, less than 10 degrees, go ahead and try to cold smoke something. I think cheese is like the easiest thing to try to cold smoke, and I really just kind of like the flavor of smoked cheese. It's just something I enjoy, and it's way easier than messing with ice. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. That's just something I've been doing this week, trying to take advantage of that cold weather. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.